Hey guys, Aaron CybertronVGC here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Ranked where I climb the Online Series 8 ladder and provide live commentary as I go. In the last episode, we used a really fun Series 8 rain team featuring Kingdra, Choice Scarf Kyogre, Assault Vest Escavalier, Volcarona, and a couple more. So, huge shout out to Pephan once again for the team. You can find him linked in the description below. There's his Twitter as well as a rental and a paste for this team. And yeah, thanks as always for watching Road to Ranked. Hope you've been enjoying it, and let's just get started with today's episode. Also, shout out to Brock, who is going to be our background for the day. Either way though, yeah, I've been having fun with some of these green screen backgrounds, so thank you for some of the recommendations you all listed. And question of the day, I've asked this before, but I'm really curious on how people feel about Dynamax right now. You know, we've had Sword and Shield for over a year at this point. We've been playing VGC in Sword and Shield for what, about a year and a half at this point. So I'm curious how you all feel about Dynamax, whether you're a VGC player or a more singles-oriented player, how you feel about the mechanic, you know, how it stacks up relative to like some of the previous mechanics we had in other formats and years. Really curious on your opinions in general. For me personally, I think I like Dynamax more than most people, it feels like. It's weird because with competitive players, I feel like some people really love it and other people like absolutely hate it. And I'm like, I guess somewhere in between, more towards the positive end than the negative end. But of course, this is speaking from the VGC perspective, not like singles, for example. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's interesting. I think it's dynamic. You know, my favorite era of VGC is still 2012, 2013. And back then, the kind of competitive you know, main standout thing was like gems, and so that was pretty interesting. You know, you get one burst of power, that's pretty much it. You know, Z moves obviously came back, and that was kind of similar, but yeah. Okay, it's gonna be a Reshiram team for the first match here. Lapras is scary for sure. I don't know. I mean, Reshiram alone isn't a problem, but I think the Lapras is actually a really big threat. So, I don't know, Grimmsnarl plus Zapdos, though, can just go for, like, Fake Tears plus Lightning. However, I suspect here Amoonguss will go for... You could go, like, Lapras Amoonguss, for example, right, and just Rage Powder. And then the tricky thing is, are you Koba Amoonguss, or are you Sash Amoonguss? It's probably one of the two. Goggles Kingdra is actually still kind of compelling here, though, because, like, I can ignore Amoonguss. So what if I went with Kingdra, Kyogre, Zapdos? My opponent's team is really cool. I don't really know what to do here. Grimmsnarl in the back? I don't really want to bring a Escavalier into a Reshiram match, especially because I don't think I'm going to max it. Volcarona seems a little iffy. I kind of want to just try Kingdra plus Kyogre. It's probably not our smartest lead, to be honest, because if you see my team from my opponent's perspective, you should expect Kingdra Kyogre as the lead, so you should try to counter it as hard as possible. And I think like Amoonguss plus Kyogre, sorry, Amoonguss plus Lapras is probably their best answer to it. So, we'll see. Either way, thanks as always for watching Road to Ranked. If you enjoyed, please show your support by leaving a like. I'd really appreciate it. And let's see what we got. It's going to be Amoonguss and a Lecky. Okay. The thing with this is I can max Airstream into Water Spout, and with the Scarf on Kyogre, we will outspeed. Only one of these can be Focus Sashed. My concern here is if you're a Koba Berry on Amoonguss. Yeah, I mean, I really want to just Airstream and Water Spout here. I think Lapras is definitely in the back, and I'm curious if my opponent, like, drops Reshiram going into this one. Because, like... Reshiram isn't actually that good against a lot of the Pokemon that we brought here. But it's still a restricted Pokemon at the end of the day. That being said, as you may have seen when we were playing with some teams, like that Evoltal team, for example, a couple weeks ago, like often Evoltal actually just didn't come out at all because it just did nothing in the matchup and there were just better Pokemon to bring. So we're going to max first, which is good. They're not going to switch into Lapras. I was a little bit nervous about a hard switch into Lapras, so that's also good to see. I guess my concern here, let's say they're Koba, Amoonguss, and Sashaleki. I won't knock out either Pokemon. They'll both be really low, but then my opponent will get like a Spore off. The good thing here is that you actually can't Spore the Kingdra because of the Goggle, so that's kind of nice. So let's see. It is going to be Koba on the Amoonguss. Okay. Well, that's fine. I give Kyogre a speed boost. I'll get a Water Spout off, and if it's not Sashaleki, then we'll just get a KO, but Sashaleki is pretty common these days. So then the other question is, who did Amoonguss target here? If they Spored in a Kingdra, that's obviously fantastic for us. But with the speed boost on Kyogre now, we have Choice Scarf and the speed boost, so we should outspeed the Lecky. Yep. Which means we get a full-powered Water Spout off, which is nice. Yeah, it is Sashaleki in the end. Oh, okay. It's not ideal. Let's see who they target. Ooh, they actually Electro Web. Okay. Well, if it's Electro Web and then Spore into Kingdra, this is honestly not a bad turn at all. But if it's Spore into Kyogre, that's a problem. Nice. All right, Goggles Kingdra comes up huge for us here. Great. Okay. So, 4 turns of Rain left. The Electro Web essentially negated the speed, which is fine. I still have Zapdos and Grimmsnarl on the back, which is pretty good. Now, if I'm my opponent, I'm thinking you want to get Lapras in safely, right? I think it's worthwhile to switch Kyogre out. It's not really doing much for us at this point. And I like going into Grimmsnarl, I think, and going for a... Ooh, I'm switching the wrong Pokemon out. Can't call that. I want to Ooze here, but it's probably better just to Airstream into Amoonguss and then switch Kyogre out into Grimmsnarl. Because if we eliminate Amoonguss, that eliminates redirection support from their end. But they could switch Amoonguss out if they wanted to. Yeah, I'm really curious if it is Reshiram waiting in the back. Nice, so Lucky protects. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a double protect, but if it's not, like, this is great too, regardless. That's actually a really cool play. I was at first wondering, like, why go for that, but by going for protect with the Alecki, you ensure that you survive with Alecki this turn. Because otherwise, I did have the potential to knock out Alecki just with any max move, right? Because it goes through protect. So my opponent made that play to basically try to conserve the Alecki. But I think it works out fine for us. Because the thing with Grimmsnarl now is I can also Fake Tears, and I have Fake out into Alecki. Like, I'm probably gonna... I lean towards Trick onto the potential Lapras coming in. But to be honest, I don't know if I need to actually outspeed that Lapras, because everything in the back should outspeed it anyway. So, like, Fake Tears might just be better, to be honest. Especially if my opponent's last one. Like, here, we're at +1 speed, right? So going for a max Ooze onto the Alecki... I don't know why I said ooh so weird like that, is fine. I don't know, I just lean towards Fake Tears here because the thing is my Zapdos with Life Orb T-Bolt should just finish it off in this endgame. And I don't think I need a trick on the Lapras because everything else outspeeds, right? The Kyogre, Kingdra, and Zapdos should all outspeed Lapras. Okay, they actually withdraw Lucky. That's the reason to not have oozed. They actually have Cortana in the back. Oh no. And they don't max Kingdra. Okay. Oh, well, I could have Geysered into that. Geyser's probably better just to guarantee damage, I suppose. We actually survived Freeze Dry, which is nice. Okay, we have Scarf Ogre in the back. They're at -2 on Lapras. I mean, Lapras probably protects here. Or switches out. Can honestly go for Fake Tears Hurricane onto Cortana here. I would protect Lapras in this position. I made my move kind of fast this turn, and I don't know if that maybe was too aggressive of a read. I think it's probably better to just have Geyser there last turn to cover for a Cortana switch in. Because if I Geyser there, Cortana's definitely fainting, even if it Dynamaxes, I think, from, you know, like a Fake Tears Hurricane combo. Well, they might be Assault Vestos, maybe not. I also could have gone Trick into Cortana, Draco Meteor into Lapras. And maybe Trick is smarter, considering that I have Zapdos in the back. They don't have screens up, though, which I guess is a good thing, because they went for Freeze Dry instead. But I actually think it was a really smart decision. Ooh. Cortana switch, okay. They're going to max Lapras. Now that is interesting. I guess they were trying to bait me to trick the lagging tail there, right? I actually really like that play, because then you get Resonance off. I can bring in Kyogre, and then I can trick onto... this is actually going to be kind of an awkward endgame, I think. Yeah, that was a really nice switch. I was honestly expecting Cortana to Dynamax there. So we'll get the KO onto Alecki. Lapras presumably will go for a Resonance onto the Kingdra slot. So they'll have 2 turns of Dynamax. They're at -2 speed def with that Lapras. I have Zapdos. Oh, they actually target Grimmsnarl. Okay. I think that's actually really good news for us. Right? Although, wait, is my Rain over here? Do I have one more turn? Oh, that's actually perfect then. Because the thing is... the question is, do I want to trick the Lagging Tail into the Cortana? No, I think it's better to just go for a Unless it's not Assault Vest Kartana, but we already saw Focus Sash on Aleki. So I think it's gotta be AV. So as a result, I think it's fine to just Hurricane and Fake Tears into it because Kartana can't increase its speed. Yeah, and then I can just bring out Kyogre and Zapdos. This might just KO, but with screens being up and with it being potentially Assault Vest, I think it'll survive. This is why Geyser earlier would have been a smarter play, though, to cover for Kartana switching. I just really didn't think they'd have Kartana as their last one. Yeah, that looks like Assault Vest to me. Ooh, actually got a Confusion. If they hit themselves in Confusion, I think we will just win here, to be honest. Because you need to at least pick up a double KO here to stand a chance. So they're going to manage to pick up the KO. Yep, that's fine. I guess my only concern now is this Thunder from Kyogre KO. Because it might not. So I might have to lock myself into Ice Beam. They Geyser there. That makes sense, because it should KO us anyway, and it covers for a switch out option. But it would be hilarious if Kingdra actually hung on there. Okay. Rain stops. We're going to turn it back on. The thing is, I just don't think your Lapras one-shots me here, right? So the play I lean towards the most, unless it's actually Weakness Policy Lapras, that's my only fear now. Light Clay makes a little bit more sense and is a little bit more common these days. The policy could be a problem. Because the thing is, with Kyogre being choiced, is that -2 Spadef? Hurricane was neutral damage. So, and how much is our special attack here? 202. Kyogre's is significantly higher. I think Thunder is going to finish it off at -2. So I lean towards Thunder and Detect here because I want to cover for the weakness policy on Lapras. It should be Assault Vest Kartana given how well it took the Hurricane. Like, otherwise you're definitely fainting there. So, I think Thunder KOs at -2 Spadef. I mean, they are AV plus screens, but Kartana's special defense is still so bad. I could have just T-bolted into Lapras there, too. Yeah, that's enough. Okay, good. Oh, that was a crit. I mean, I really don't... I'll do the calc afterwards, but I really don't think that mattered. Yeah, it's going to be Resonance into Zapdos. I think that should seal up the game. Because we can just Thunder, T-Bolt, and then one more Thunder, and they're at -2 special defense. This is why I thought, like, I was kind of expecting their Lapras to switch out. But now their Dynamax is over. I do want to quickly calc Thunder into the Kartana. Kartana was at around 30%. Because if we actually needed that crit, then I actually really have to change how I played this endgame. But I don't... Like, I guess I could have just gone for Ice Beam anyway. And then, like, Thunder maybe just one-shots the Lapras. I was just worried about Policy Lapras here in the end. Oh, never mind. Life Orb, Thunder from Zapdos definitely KO'd, so Ice Beam was definitely the correct play there into the Kartana instead. Just to max guarantee the KO there. But let's quickly do the calc here, because I honestly have no idea. And in the end, my opponent did not bring that Reshiram, but I actually think that was the right move. So, pulling up the calc, we're Timid Kyogre, not Primal Kyogre, regular Kyogre, Timid. Kartana had around 30%, and it was at -2 special defense. -2. Aurora Veil was up. Yeah, this should KO. Let's say you're max HP, max special defense, which is pretty much never the case. Thunder still does 27 to 33%. And I don't think you're going to be max there. So, I'm actually curious what the most common Kartana spread is. Because I'm not 100% sure. So let's see. Kartana with AV. What are people running these days? Like max special defense, no attack. So 4 HP, 240, 252 Spadef. Thunder against that does 33 to 40%. So I think we were good there, but I was leaving it a little bit, like, I mean, it was a little bit risky. Oh, we can actually check their spread. Sweet. I should have just checked that first. Life Orb Reshiram. Goggles, Berserk, Moltres, Sashaleki. Yeah, they had the worst case scenario in the end, which was the Koba plus the Sash. AV Kartana, 166, 51. Wait, that doesn't look like it has any Spadef investment. Oh, interesting. Is it just max HP instead? I think that's the case. So if it's max HP, Thunder is a guaranteed KO there. despite the... So we didn't need the crit there. Yeah. Their max HP... Because typically with AV Kartana, you want to invest in the special defense investment to get more out of the AV, basically. So, yeah, this is telling me Thunder would have done 45 to 54%. So, yeah. Sorry, the reason why I spend time analyzing stuff like that is because you... No matter whether or not you win a game, you always want to like know whether or not you made the best move. And if Thunder's a guaranteed KO there, it's always our best move because we need it for potential damage output against the Lapras. However, in the end, because they were at -2 and we had the Life Orb Thunder, like Ice Beam definitely would have been better. We're actually up against Casti right now, who has been one of the best players in the world, especially in the last 2 years. But he actually got top 8 at Worlds back in 2012. He's a really, really strong player from Spain, so this should be fun. Just got Dragapult Zacian. Rillaboom's obviously a problem here. Honestly, I kind of want to max Escavalier. I mean, I think Dragapult's just a really big concern, because I don't think a max Wormwind one-shots him. Can't fake tears onto Dragapult. I don't like this. He also has Gastrodon, which is not good either. I don't have like a clear path to victory here, so I don't know who I play towards. I'm thinking it's Zapdos, to be honest. We Dynamax this thing. Could bring Volcarona for redirection support. That's actually kind of interesting. I mean, surely I bring Kyogre, right? It's actually not that good in this matchup, but I still think it's worth bringing. I mean, Kingdra's Draco Meteor, that alone makes me feel like I should just go with the Rain in the back, but he's got a really scary looking team here, because you've got the Rillaboom for the Kyogre, you've got the Gastrodon for the Kyogre and the Kingdra, Grimmsnarl for general trick shenanigans. So there's definitely a lot of scary stuff here. And in my opinion, yeah, Casti has just been really under the radar as a top player. Like, I think anyone that knows who he is knows he's really good, but in my opinion, he's even... I'd say like underrated in the sense that he's really just been an outstanding, phenomenal player. And, you know, for almost a decade in VGC now, but I think he stopped playing for a little bit and came back in the more, like, the last 2 years or so. And I don't know. I think he's just really, really phenomenal at the game. So, let's see. He goes with Grimmsnarl and Rotom. Gastrodon's definitely in the back, right? There's no way you would lead this without... So, does that mean you didn't bring Dragapult? Well, that's actually really interesting if so. I'm really nervous about Rotom going for a... I really don't want to Dynamax Zapdos turn 1 either, though. That's my problem here. The Gastrodon in the back is a huge pain to deal with. Because I want to fake out Rotom and just Airstream into Grimmsnarl. But I don't think this is a great play, to be honest. I gotta think about how I even beat this Gastrodon in the back. Nice lead. I was expecting like Dragapult stuff. I don't really want to trick here immediately because I want to conserve it, but I guess if we're expecting Gastrodon in the back, what's the point of conserving it? I'm not sure. So yeah. Let me get the max Zapdos. I'm expecting Nasty Paw on Rotom, which is why I went for Fake Out. Okay. So we get Fake Out off first, which makes me think he's not going for Fake Out. And he just goes for Light Screen. Okay. See, this doesn't feel like a good max, though, because what do I get out of it? A speed boost? Like, okay. Doesn't really feel that good. Airstream is a 2-hit KO onto Grimmsnarl, though, which is kind of nice. I don't know if that's a guaranteed 2-hit KO, but we'll take it. Is there a reason to ever max Lightning in this position? No. It's always better to just get speed boost here. Same amount of power. Well, actually, the reason to Lightning is in case they switch Grimmsnarl out into Zacian. That's actually not a bad... It's just... I mean, Grim could go into Gastrodon, but that feels kind of unlikely. Would you really switch in Zacian here? I mean, I could punish really heavily if he did, but I don't think he's going to. And even if he does, it's fine. I think it's fine to just Airstream here into Grimmsnarl. Let's go for a trick onto the Rotom. Because I think Rotom might want a Nasty Plot in max. Yeah, he stays in. Okay, just goes for Reflect. That's fine. We don't actually really have physical damage there, but it also makes sense from his end to just go for that before fainting. So, presumably stealing a Citrus Berry away here. see. Or goggles, actually. I should have mentioned that as an option too. I'm really hoping this actually gets the KO. Okay, good. Because the first one did just over 50%, so it looked like a damage roll there. Okay, not a bad turn one for us. I'm glad it's not like lagging tail Grimmsnarl from his end. Maybe a nasty plot here. Yeah. The main thing is dealing with Gastrodon, but I suppose even if you have Gastrodon, I can still spam Water Spout. It's just, how do I actually knock out Gastrodon? Especially with screens being up. Okay, so it comes out. I would protect Gastrodon in this position. I could Fake Tears, or they just Dynamax Gastrodon. That's actually a pretty big possibility, I feel like. Play I want to go for is Airstreaming a Gastrodon and Fake Tears into it. Because if we eliminate Gastrodon, Kingdra wins. But I think for that reason, you probably protect Gastrodon here. Yeah. Oh, you didn't Dynamax Rotom. That's a smart decision as well. Okay, it was just a double protect. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, that's a really smart and consistent play. The thing here is I'm not really worried about this Gastrodon this next turn. Wow, actually, Airstream did a decent amount there. I don't want to switch out. I mean, there's no reason to switch out Zapdos. This thing is really boosted up in terms of speed. Can take away Gastro's item. Slight Clay Grimmsnarl from their end. So they're just really bulky right now. I lean towards Detect and Fake Tears in a Gastrodon. I just can't hit the Rotom with these two, but Kyogre or Kingdra in the back obviously are okay against it. Yeah, I mean, I'm fine, I think, going for a Detect and a Fake Tears in this position in a Gastrodon. Nice play. Zacian coming in. Yeah, that's a really good play. Oh, I actually, like, could have not won the game, but put myself in a really good spot if I read into that switch. It's kind of a hard read to make, though. The thing is, I'm at +3 speed, right? So I'll outspeed Zacian this next turn, which is good. What does Rotom go for here? Okay, it is T-Bolt and a Zapdos, so I'll take that. At this point, though, if you're my opponent, I think you Dynamax Rotom, protect Zacian, right? Got the Heat Wave here. It's a really weird spot to be in. Detected last turn. I can Spirit Break Rotom here. This doesn't feel like it's the right play. I went for Heat Wave Spirit Break. But I don't think Heat Wave KOs Zacian even if it doesn't protect, and the protect is so obvious there. Oh, he didn't max Rotom though, so if that allows us to survive, that's actually a really big deal. But I see what he's going for. He's going for a late game Dynamax with Gastrodon, which is really smart, because he recognizes if he KOs Zapdos, Gastrodon has a really good time in this matchup. So, maybe I could have just... The turn I Airstreamed into Gastrodon, if I Fake Tears doubled up onto Rotom, since it doesn't have recovery, we do slowly just chip away at it. Okay, let's see if we can survive T-Bolt. It's not enough. Oh, we got crit there. I think we might have survived without the crit. That crit will probably not seal it up, but makes this a lot harder. Okay, now if you're my opponent, you switch that Zacian out into that Gastrodon, right? And presumably just protect the Rotom. Man, that's not a great crit, but I'm not sure it mattered, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, Zacian should definitely go out into Gastrodon right now. I don't see a clear path. And then Rotom can just protect. So I could Fake Tears, Ice Beam into the Gastro switch in. He might also not expect the Choice Scarf. Going for Spout and Spirit Break instead. But I think he's going to switch here. Ooh, it's actually Rotom that switches out. Hold on. That actually gives us a shot. Yeah, this is what I was hoping for, that he wouldn't expect the Scarf there. Because I figured if I went for Fake Tears, Ice Beam, and Zacian and it doesn't switch out, we insta-lose the game. Whereas even like with this, it's actually still possible. Okay, that's actually a really big deal. Because I can keep Spirit Breaking to lower Gastron's special attack as well. I mean, the thing was, I was like, ah, man, even if I Fake Tears Ice Beam and a Gastron, like, what does that even accomplish for us? It didn't feel like that much. Okay. So now if you're my opponent, you bring out Rotom, you max the Gastron, you max Quake into Kyogre, and you protect the Gastrodon. Right? I lean towards just Water Spout and Spirit Break here. They know I'm Choice Scarf now. I could switch Kyogre out into Kingdra. Actually doesn't seem like a terrible play, but he might also not protect the Rotom. I kind of want to cover for that option. How many turns of screens are left? 2 turns of Light Screen. I could always Fake Tears Water Spout the Rotom slot next turn. Yeah, I'm going to Water Spout Spirit Break here. I don't know. What if I just switched Kyogre out there into Kingdra? I have Draco Meteor then. You have to max Gastrodon here, right? Yeah. I think Fake Tears is what maybe saves us in this matchup. I didn't want to switch out Rotom, or sorry, Kingdra there in case Rotom like doesn't protect. But it has to protect there, doesn't it? But then the thing is, I can just Fake Tears, Water Spout Rotom for a KO this next turn. I don't really care about Storm Drain because I just get rid of each boost with Spirit Break. I guess the problem is how much does your Max Quake do into Kyogre? Oh, they Geyser. That doesn't KO, does it? Ah. That actually, I think that will cost us the game. I don't think that KOs without a Life Orb, but I'll do the calc afterwards. Dang. Even if I switched out there, though, that was actually a good play to try to get the KO onto Grimmsnarl. But I can't help but think if that doesn't crit, we win the game. I'll do the calc after this, because I am actually really curious. What are we? 202 HP, 105 SpDef. Because maybe it didn't matter, but Gastron didn't have a Life Orb, right? We can still win off Hurricane Confusion right now, but that's basically it. Okay. Well played. Honestly, though, I think like we both went for our best options at every given point. Wow, that's really tanky. Sheesh. That's the downside of locking myself into Water Spout here in this end game. No confusion here, but if we get one next turn into a Draco Meteor, we can still win. Oh, Max Quake maybe just KOs us here. You obviously target the Kingdra. Let's see. Okay, we do survive. So we still have a win con via Hurricane Confusion. Light Screen wears off. I guess I could also just crit outright. No. Crit Draco doesn't even KO. I definitely need a Hurricane Confusion into full Confusion and then Draco Meteor hit. Okay, well, that's our win con. He went for the double protect, which is also the correct play. There's no reason not to. That's so little damage. No confusion. All right, that's going to be the game. So I do want to do that calc real quick. Because I really don't think Gastron was one-shotting our Grimmsnarl there, but maybe I'm wrong. Let's see, max. Let's just assume modest max. Rain was up. Screen. Let's see, modest. If it is modest max, maybe it actually had a. It still would have been a roll. I'm just double checking our special defense stat here in the end. Yeah, I'm just gonna forfeit right after this. 105, 202, 105. Okay, well played. I want to calc that, and I also want to calc the Rotom Heat into Zapdos crit. Because I'm not sure either of them mattered, but So if it's Modest, Max Geyser, you have a 6.3% chance to one-shot Grimmsnarl there. So still could have picked up a KO, but I don't... I mean, what was the other play I would have made there? Switch into Kingdra? No. I think he needed to go for that crit. Because if he doesn't get it, then the next turn I can just Fake Tears into the Gastrodon Water Spout into Rotom. Then I suppose, though, does... Like, I'm not sure I still win the game, to be honest. Yeah. Like... okay, I also want to do that other crit. Rotom Heat into Zapdos. Is that what? +1 special attack? We didn't really have any bulk there. Okay. If he's max special attack, then actually we could still survive. How much HP were we at? Like, max special attack +1 Thunderbolt does 70 to 85%. And very rarely are you max special attack these days. But if he was, then yeah, that crit probably didn't matter. If he's 116, which is standard, I think it made a difference. 65 to 76. So it might, like, I think it's a damn... Oh, we can actually check the team. So let's see. Gastro... It's not Modest Max. Which means the crit needed to happen to get the KO, right? I'm just calculating this because I'm curious, but I don't know if it actually, like... I just want to think about what I could have done differently given this. 128. So a fair amount of investment. But against our Grimmsnarl, that's never a KO. So that crit guaranteed the KO on a Grimmsnarl. So if you don't get that crit there, then what do I do? I could Water Spout into the Rotom and then Fake Tears into the... It's really smart for him to not target Kyogre, though. Like, the awareness to go for that Geyser and a Grimmsnarl was, like, one of the reasons why he's such a good player. Because, like, yeah, even if he doesn't get that crit, maybe he was still fine in that endgame, to be honest. Because I'm thinking, yeah, you just go for Fake Tears. I Spout Fake Tears, but then the Gastrodon's at +1. And then you would probably Quake to get a special defense boost. And since my Kingdra doesn't have Protect, and I'm locked into Water Spout, I think I probably still lose anyway. So... the proper action would have actually been to... And in the end, this didn't matter because the crit happened, but the right play, because I think Rotom always protects there, is to switch out Kyogre into Kingdra. That allows me to reset the Ice Beam. Then if we don't get crit, the subsequent turn, I can Fake Tears Draco Meteor into the Rotom. But why am I even targeting Rotom there? I think Gastrodon, because it has Recover here, is just so tough to deal with. And it's Rindo, so it's not like Citrus Berry, but still. Like Grim... Yeah, Classic Zacian, Miracle Seed, Rillaboom, Nasty Plot, Safety Goggles, Rotom, and then Sash Dragapult. Yeah, honestly, like, we got crit twice in this game, but I don't even think they matter too much because he played really well as well. Okay, third match of the day. What do we got here? Classic Sun. Sun is everywhere right now. So, how do we want to approach this? The thing is that there's so many viable options we could go with to beat Sun here. Grim, Zapdos, Kyogre, Kingdra. Volcarona was really good for us yesterday, though. I think the main thing here is I absolutely cannot allow Groudon to set up. If I'm my opponent, what am I leading? Alecki, Groudon? No, sorry, Alecki... Actually, yeah, Alecki, Groudon doesn't seem half bad. So what about Kingdra lead so then I can pressure for a switch? Kingdra Volk, Kyogre, Grim? Like, I want to bring Grimmsnarl so badly just to get a trick. But it's really tough to slot in here. I might just go with Zapdos for pure damage output instead. I don't know, you could definitely make an argument for Grim. I don't like leading Grimmsnarl though. Like, let's say my opponent leads Insane Groudon. And I lead Grim, then you can fake out my Grimmsnarl. And if I don't pressure... Okay, if I actually wanted to lead Grimmsnarl, it would have been Grimmsnarl plus Volcarona. But the tough thing is I really wanted Kyogre, Kingdra, Zapdos all to come out, and Volcarona in this game damage-wise. So, I don't know. I mean, you could make a very good argument for Grimmsnarl just for the trick by itself. Venusaur plus Alecki. Okay. So we know there's going to be a Groudon in the back. It's not a bad lead. Could see my opponent just going for an Electro Web here. Should be Koba on Venu. Could Geyser into a Lecky. That would also cover a Groudon switch out. So Dynamax, Geyser, and Protect. Currently, if I can max the Volcarona and max Flare into the Venusaur. Actually not that bad of a play. If I'm my opponent, what am I going for? Electric? I don't even know if you can KO Volk, to be honest. Huh. I feel like I should max here. I'm not maxing, but I think that might be a mistake, because I think Venusaur maxes, yeah. What was the proper max there, then? I'm not sure. I'm also now worried this is weakness policy Venusaur. I guess you could just Electro Web Vine Lash into Kingdra. That's like a pretty safe play, right? It's T-Wave Regieleki. Wow. Okay, well, I guess it's a good thing we didn't max Kingdra then. I guess, all things considered. It's great damage from Overheat. I'll take that. The question is, are you weakness policy'd? No, they're not. Okay, they go for an Ooze. Onto Volk. They're definitely Vine Lashing the Kingdra slot this next turn, I think. Muddy Water. Ah, we miss a Lecky. Well, it's the downside of going for Muddy Water. I don't think Draco would have KO'd Venu there anyway. If I'm my opponent now, I'm going to T-Wave or Electro Web into Volcarona and Vine Lash into Kingdra. I think we Dynamax Zapdos in this point in the game, right? Actually, maybe I just double up onto Venusaur here. Draco Meteor and Overheat onto it. And try to just go up in terms of the Dynamax number. Yeah, they go for an Electro Web. But they can't KO both of our Pokemon here. But if you just Vine Lash into Kingdra, you're in good shape. Did not expect that T-Wave to come out. That's really interesting. The thing is, I could have switched out here, but to be honest, a switch out into Vine Lash or any residual attack hurts so much. Rough day. We really needed that KO. Oh my gosh. I mean, Overheat definitely would have finished it off, I think, so. Like, I don't mind going down 2-3 if I get that KO, but what a bummer. Alright, let's not give up. You can always find ways to fight through, but that's a big miss, unfortunately, for us. But that's what happens when you rely on Overheat 2 times in a row, right? If I'm my opponent, I'm just Electro Webbing now and Max Oozing into Zapdos. It's so tough to win this now. Okay. I don't see a good path. Especially with Vine Lash, like I can't even protect. Yeah, I think this one's looking tough. Because if I at least KO Venusaur, I have an extra turn of Dynamax, you have to switch something in, and that whatever you switch in is also vulnerable to what I have out on the field. Even if we hit, to be honest, I still don't think we're in like an amazing position, but you know, sometimes you have tough luck. Today's RNG doesn't feel like game defining to the point where it's like we were already in tough positions, and so missing / like getting crit just made it even tougher. Oh gosh, that's so much damage. We get crit. Oh, this is a perfect example of when it rains, it pours. Kind of expecting this to crit at this point too. Yeah, the problem is that like the Lecky is actually getting these special attack boosts as well. So I guess leading Grimmsnarl could have been a good thing because I could have at least gotten the item. Yeah, it is Kobo Venusaur. I also could have just Dynamax Volcarona turn 1 and Max Flared Venusaur, but I don't think it was enough for a one-hit KO because the base power is only a little bit higher, right? So, meh. But I think my opponent just had a better lead than I did in this game. Did we get unlucky? Sure, but my lead was really subpar, to be honest. How do I beat Groudon? Sorry, Venu plus a Lecky as a lead. Actually, Kingdra normally on paper looks really good there, but they had the T-Wave. Like, maybe it was to just Dynamax Kingdra anyway.
T-Wave actually makes this so hard, though. Because the whole point with this team is you want to overwhelm with offense, right? Okay, they can still lose if for some reason they go for like an Electro Web. You should actually always just T-Bolt into Zapdos here. Wait, can we win then, assuming they T-Bolt into Zapdos? We even missed that Muddy Water early, so can't even knock out a Lucky in this range. This thing's at what, +2? Yeah, it's looking kind of rough. Okay, we can always hope for Electro Web double miss. I think that's what we're going for here. They actually risked Electro Web, so like that actually was a plausible win con. In that position, I think if you're my opponent, it's always better to just Thunderbolt, to be honest. Well, I don't know the item on a Lucky, actually, so I can't say for sure. But if you're Focus Sash, it's always better to just T-Bolt into Kyogre because you're at +2 special attack anyway, I think. So had they actually double missed, we actually could have... I don't even know if Reshiram's KOing Groudon in that position, so probably not. I mean, Sun teams aren't easy to go up against when you're using this team, that's for sure. But I also think my opponents in these last 2 games played really well. Like, and I put myself in positions where, well, they were also pretty tricky matchups, but I don't want to say it's just a matchup. The second game, for example, the one against Casty, was really good recognition by him to realize like Gastron was what he should play towards. And then in this game, my lead wasn't super good. So I could have gone like Grimmsnarl Zapdos, and then I could have just gone like, does Max Airstream one-shot Venusaur? It might, because then what I can do is trick away the Kobe Berry and Max Airstream immediately into Venusaur. So, but because I didn't know they had Thunder Wave, like I don't think I would have played that first game too differently. But now, if in a best of 3, now that I know that they're T-Wave, they were Sashaleki anyway. Yeah, the T-Wave is so good for them. They're into that matchup. Citrus Groudon, pretty classic stuff. Eviolite P2, and then yeah, Life Orb Charizard. So they didn't have Protect. They were Kobo on this thing. I don't know. I think like Grimmsnarl Zapdos may have been a better lead into that one instead. So yeah, we'll play a 4th game here. Alright, last game of the day, and that's a very interesting team. There's an Eternatus there. Otherwise, you got Incin, Rillaboom, Whimsicott, Dusclops, Lapras, all pretty standard stuff. You know, I think those last 2 games are good examples of how, like, Pokemon can be a really tough game. Because, like, you know, there's matchups, there's RNG involved, and, you know, our RNG didn't go the best way, we didn't bring our best A game, and our opponents played well. So, you know, the combination of that often will result in a loss. But, yeah, like, one reason why I upload so many games for Road to Ranked, especially the losses, is because I think it's really important to show that, like, everyone will run into, you know, a couple bad games now and then. I think there were a lot of, not mistakes, but, like, small improvements we could have made in those last 2 losses that we had as well. So, yeah. Okay, Eternatus, I'm wondering if it's like weakness policy here. I also wonder if it has Flamethrower, because like, I kind of want to bring a Escavalier here. Could also just go Grim Zapdos, to be honest. I honestly really like Escavalier here, so I'm going to try it out, and then Kingdra in the back. Because like, the Escavalier gives me a answer against their Trick Room stuff here. So yeah. Really cool team, though. I mean, Eternatus is not something you see very often. I've only tried it once, and it was that Power or Meteor Beam team. It was really fun, but it was definitely not a consistent Pokemon in general. And that often is the case with, obviously, some of the less popular Restricteds in Series 8. So yeah, I want to use the last 2 games as examples because, like, while it's easy to hone in on, like, the bad luck that we got, to be honest, I still think I was kind of behind in both of them, even had that luck not gone our way, and that's because our opponent was just, like, making better plays up until that point anyway. So it means that I needed to identify better positions to begin with. I didn't even put myself in good positions, and then when I get unlucky on top of that, it just basically means game over. But it's like, even if I didn't get unlucky, my opponent probably was going to be in a pretty good spot anyway. So, yeah. Okay, it's Incin plus Lapras here. Man, my only fear is your weakness policy on the Lapras. I really don't want to activate a policy here. Got Trick. You know what I like? I think I like Max Airstream into Lapras because then I can just Fake Tears Max Lightning it for a KO the next turn. Sure.
I'm assuming I'm going to get hit by a fake out here. But if not, and I get the fake tears off immediately, that's also nice. Yeah, we couldn't go with Kingdra Kyogre here because of the Lapras. So, yeah. Also, like, I'm recording right now, but, you know, typically if you have, like, tough back-to-back games like I just did, one thing that I do recommend sometimes is to just take a break, like, step away from the game, because it's very easy to, like, get frustrated through everything going wrong. Not like everything went wrong. I mean, honestly, that second game was really, really close. But, yeah, games like that can honestly exert a lot mentally sometimes. So, if you have, like, back-to-back tough matches especially, I think it can, like, feel really crushing, right? And often that will affect how you play in subsequent matches. So don't be afraid to just like take a break, even, you know, step away from the game for a day. I find that often helps. Very interesting. They actually don't fake out with Incin. Huh. Okay, well, I get the fake tears off immediately, which means this Airstream's going to do a ton. Not enough for a KO, but I don't need a KO right now. It's really risky by my opponent, though, because if I max Lightning there, I think you insta-lose the game turn 1. It's just so hard to recover from something like that. Yeah, they went for Parting Shot, but I don't really mind because this Lapras is still fainting next turn. So, what do you bring in here? Unless it's like Life Orb Blizzard Lapras, so then you have like a stronger base power Max Hailstorm or Resonance and it one-shots Zapdos. That'd be scary. But I think getting that much damage off onto Lapras ever, like this early on, is always a good start to the game. Okay, so Eternatus comes out. And it's just going to be Resonance. That's fine, yeah. Into the Zapdos. Okay, nice, we take that. Let's see, we know they have Vincent in the back. Eternatus is out on the field right now. They have screens up right now. I guess I could have just gone for Lightning, but I don't know. I feel like if they're policy there, it's actually so bad for us, and I really don't want to risk that. I have a Escavalier and Kyogre in the back. Honestly, like, Trick here into Eternatus and Max Guard on Zapdos. Scout out for what they want to go for, especially if it's a Meteor Beam into Zapdos. Well, I guess you could just go for Dynamax Cannon, no? But once I get Trick onto Eternatus, that's pretty good. This baits out a potential Protect from Lapras as well. Max Lightning will obviously KO that next turn. We know there's Instant in the back, so Kyogre will deal with that pretty easily. So let's see if they protect either of their Pokemon here. Interesting, they actually didn't protect either. Okay. I actually think that's a smart play. Yeah. Because, like, unless they doubled up on a Zapdos, that'd be really interesting. It is Power Herb. They went for Meteor Beam. Okay. Well, that's actually funny because if I actually just tricked there... Yeah, they did double up on a Zapdos. If I just tricked and Lightning into Lapras, that also would have been really good. That's funny. Yeah, I've got Spirit Break here into Eternatus. I could see Lapras protecting here, but they'll probably just Resonance again. Who do I think is going to be in the back? Rillaboom? I kind of have a feeling they're not going to go for Protect here on Lapras. So I'm going to Lightning into it. Yeah. Given that they didn't protect last turn, which I thought was like a prime opportunity to, I don't know, just had a feeling they wouldn't, but this game was funny because I played pretty safe, and my opponent made some really high-risk plays that we could have punished. That being said, it's fine that we don't get to, like, we don't punish them. Like, I still feel okay about our position, but this was a game that could have ended very quickly had I went for, like, Max Lightning instead of Airstream turn 1. I just think it's important to respect the potential threat of a weakness policy there, for example. Okay, so we'll lower Eternatus' stats a little bit. Did they target Grimmsnarl here? That'd be really interesting. Oh, wow. They did. Huh. Okay. Because I thought surely my opponent would want to double up onto Zapdos. I mean, I'll take that. What's interesting is if you bring in Incineroar right now, because I can protect Zapdos, switch out Grimmsnarl into Kyogre. Yeah, they bring Incin out, which is really good for us, in my opinion. I still have to deal with screens, though, which is tricky. Like, in the end, we should have gotten a lot more out of these first couple turns than we actually did. But I ended up choosing to play, like, the safest route possible, which I don't necessarily regret. So, let's bring Grimmsnarl out, go into the Kyogre, and Escavalier actually should match up really well against anything that my opponent has as their last Pokemon. So let's detect here with Zapdos.
Then I outspeed with both Kyogre and the Zapdos, and I can just go for something like Water Spout or Origin Pulse and Hurricane. The problem is I don't think Origin Pulse actually one-shots Incineroar, which once again is a testament to how bulky it is. Of course, screens are up right now too, right? But yeah, I mean, imagine if I just went Lightning into Lapras and then Trick onto Eternatus. Like, that's why I thought Dynamax Cannon was also more consistent, because it covers for the Trick option. But, you know, Pokemon's a tough game. Sometimes you just don't consider options that your opponent can go for. And maybe my opponent was aware of the Trick stuff and they still, you know, didn't mind. That's also a plausible explanation. Okay, let's see. I mean, here I would fake out Zapdos. The question is whether or not you'd want to double up onto that slot. Wow, interesting. Okay, they did not go for fake out onto Zapdos. It's just Flare Blitz into the Kyogre switch in. Which is fine by me. Sludge Bomb into Zapdos. Okay, I'll take that. I don't mind that too much. Kind of want to switch Zapdos out here, to be honest, because I don't think I'm KOing either of these anyway. And I'm at -1 special attack, so it's not like I'm actually doing that much damage. Might be better to Origin Pulse here, just because I might take a chunk of damage, and I don't think Spout KOs anyway. So Origin Pulse and switch Zapdos out into Grimmsnarl. Because I think Escavalier is really good in this endgame if we can eliminate the Incineroar as well. If my Zapdos were faster than Kyogre, I would just Hurricane Water Spout to guarantee the KO into Instinct, because then that should set up Escavalier for a KO. But we're not. We are Scarf on Kyogre. Okay, Eternatus is Protect. That's fine. I wasn't targeting that slot anyway, so I think we're in good shape right now. Eternatus is just kind of a tough Pokemon to use in this format. I think the Power of Meteor Beam stuff is probably the best, but even then, it's not amazing. Yeah, so Instant hangs on, but that's fine. We get the Berry activation. Another Origin Pulse should KO it. Even if I stayed in with Zapdos there and went for a Hurricane or a Thunder, it's not KOing at -1 special attack anyway, so no point in really bothering. You're going to go for Parting Shot onto like Kyogre. That's fine, because whatever comes in I can just fake out right now. But I suppose Rillaboom coming in right now would actually be kind of obnoxious. Like, we're definitely not in the clear yet in this game. Because I need to knock out that Instant. It is going to be Rillaboom. But this is where I guess Escavalier is kind of handy. We haven't... Oh, actually, we should know the full moveset from this Eternatus, right? Sludge Bomb, Dynamax Cannon, Power, Meteor Beam. So, like, you can't hit Escavalier right now. This is why Escavalier is actually a really good late game option here, which is cool. Okay. So Rillaboom's out. I want to switch Kyogre out into Escavalier right now. Go for a Trick onto Rillaboom. Take away its item. And then Escavalier comes in for free. I get to bring in Zapdos as well. Yeah, this game's just a little frustrating because I just went for that Max Lightning turn 1. This would have been a lot easier. I don't know, though. I still see Policy occasionally on Lapras where I want to respect it, because if it was Policy there, that turn 1's really rough for us. They stay with the Eternatus, which is also good. They didn't go for Fake Out on Rillaboom, which is interesting. Okay. Okay, we take away its Assault Vest. That's fine by me. They actually opted for Woodhammer into the Escavalier slot, which is also fine by me. It's actually really important that we find out that it's Assault Vest there, because it means my opponent doesn't really have a safe switch in here. Okay. So I think we bring out Zapdos here. This is still actually really close, but I think Escavalier is in a pretty good spot. I just don't know if Mega Horn KOs instant on the switch in. Escav will win 2v1 against here, so we just need to knock out Incineroar to win the game. Does Mega Horn KO if you switch an Instant? I don't think so. Like, I lean towards protecting Zapdos here. Wait, Mega Horn does 180. Draw Run does 160. Oh, so Mega Horn just does more anyway, right? So we just Mega Horn into Rillaboom, protect Zapdos here. I think. They don't switch out. Ooh. That's actually a really big deal if I one-shot your Rillaboom, because then the Kyogre should win through Origin Pulse. Nice, okay. Let's go Escavalier. Ooh, it's not a one-hit KO, but that's okay.
They go for another Meteor Beam. Okay. I like that option. I like that a lot. It's a shame we didn't get that one shot there, but maybe it's okay. Does Glide one-shot the Zapdos now is the other question I have. Last turn of Rain, which is good. We'll feign, and then we bring Kyogre to set up the Rain again. This thing's at +1 now. I need a KO Rillaboom here. I don't want to risk missing, so I guess I'll just Iron Head here. And Hurricane into it. I don't know if Glide KOs. We do resist. Ooh, that's actually enough. Okay. This is going to be a very close finish. But the AV on Escavalier should help. Let's see how much we take from this. That's a nice Meteor Beam. I really like that. I mean, it's their only option, really. Ooh, that's a lot of damage. Rain stops. We get a little bit more grassy terrain recovery. You're going to get an Intimidate off into Escavalier. Your screens are over. I have Kyogre. You have to fake out Kyogre, presumably. But the thing is, Eternatus can't hit Escavalier other than going for Meteor Beam, correct? Which is good for us. And since Origin Pulse should always KO the Incin anyway, we don't need to target Incineroar here without... I think we just need to hit our attacks and we're probably good in this late game, but it's always scary to say you have to rely on hitting your attacks. Because I think here you have to fake out, so I'm going to Drill Run into Eternatus and Origin Pulse. With the presumption that my opponent goes for fake out into Kyogre here. They could also just hope for a miss at this point, but like I said, this game is honestly too close for comfort. Yeah, so it's fake out into Kyogre. Crit there. We'll get Drill Run off here into Eternatus. It's really good damage, I'll take that. I don't think this one-shots us, right? I mean, if so, we lose, I think. Because you target Kyogre here. Oh my gosh, we hang on with 6 HP. Okay, now as long as we hit Origin Pulse, we should win, but that is a... it's a tall ask. And RNG has been a little tough for us today, so... But this is also a great example where it's like, if I miss to lose, it's on me, because I didn't play my early game super well. And if I played it better, we'd probably just be in a winning spot here anyway. I don't think I need to risk missing Drill Run in this position. And Iron Head gives us a out with a flinch chance here, too. So I'm going to go for the Origin Pulse and the Iron Head instead. Okay, and we hit. Man, that was too close for comfort, though. My opponent played really well to keep themselves in this game. It was just kind of frustrating from my end, because, yeah, if I actually just, like, KO Lapras turn 1, you don't even get the screens up, there's no way you can come back from that on turn 1. Lapras ended up being out on the field for 3 turns when I was hoping it'd only stay out for 1, right? Yeah, they're going to go for Sludge Bomb there, but Escavalier will win. Escavalier was actually really key to have in the back, though. If I didn't have it in the back here, we definitely would have lost. So, yeah. Well played with the Eternatus, and, like, the Lapras made it so bulky. It's just tough, right? Because Rillaboom's such a good counter to the Kyogre in itself. That I have to eliminate Rillaboom before I can get Kyogre. And you can see how the screens makes a difference, right? If screens aren't up in that game, Megahorn just one-shots Rillaboom, no problem. Kind of reminds me of yesterday where we brought Escavalier to like lock our opponent into a tough spot where we already damaged the Escavalier, or sorry, the Incineroar in the back as well. But yeah, Iron Head here will finish things off. And yeah, there's no reason to risk a Drill Run miss there. I think we probably, it actually wouldn't have made a difference in the long term because the only way Eternatus, like they didn't have Flamethrower, right? So the only way you win is through Meteor Beam anyway. And that you need to take a turn to charge the Meteor Beam and then actually go for the Meteor Beam. But yeah. I felt like we had a really good matchup there, but then execution was not exactly amazing on my end. But once again, I don't regret respecting weakness policy on Lapras. It's just funny because like I feel like every time I try to say, oh, they're not going to be policy, they end up being like the 10% of Laprases that are weakness policy. Yeah, so it was just like play in the end here. Modest HP, max special attack. Max speed, max special attack Eternatus here. So getting the full incense onto this was obviously good, or lagging tail. Otherwise, yeah, really standard across the board. Escavalier was really key for our late game here, though, so glad we had that in the end. Anyway, that's going to be it for this episode, so thank you so much as always for watching. If you enjoyed, please share your support by leaving a like. Once again, I think those losses were tough, but at the end of the day, like, we could have played better. Our opponents also played really well, and the matchup was like definitely a little bit shaky. It's not like I just had a clear path to victory. So when you add all of those up, and you know, like yeah, just in general, like I don't feel that bad about that loss or those losses because there was like a lot of different small improvements that could have happened. Whether it be the lead matchup, whether it be some small things that I did throughout the game, and I think like. Yeah, maybe there was some bad luck, but generally I thought my opponents played better than I did right from the start of the game as well. So yeah, like you can obviously like pinpoint RNG and be like, oh, that's like the only thing that mattered. But the reality is I think that was far from the truth, especially in the losses from this one. So yeah, it just sometimes it feels like, you know, it compounds up turn after turn. You're like, oh my gosh, what is happening? But it's always good to like objectively look at the game after it's over and see whether or not how much of that actually mattered and whether you were in a winning position before that stuff actually happened. Either way, that's going to be it for this one, so leave a like as always if you enjoyed, and I'll catch you all next time. Alright, peace.